Um, oh, we're being live streamed. Okay.
I
Good
was
morning.
2 minutes late.
Are you the lady that Randolph sent an email to?
I believe so. I received an
Okay,
email.
yeah. This is a guest we're having today. Well, welcome. Have you been in Toastmasters, or is this a first touch, or what?
This is my first time.
Oh, well,
Oh,
welcome. It'll be
excellent.
a great morning.
We're
Thank you so
excited to
much.
have you.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
what
I'm
would
just
you like us to call you?
Oh, let me update that. I apologize. My name is Tiana. I will update that.
Tiana, okay.
gonna.
Sweet. I need that.
Well,
Absolutely.
Tiana, I do something called table topics. It's impromptu speaking. So would you, and we speak for like, what is it, 1.5 to 2.5 minutes?
One to two. One
On
to two.
1 to 2 on a topic. Would you like to speak?
I would love to try. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yay! That's what we love. Bold, bold and risky people. Okay.
We're pretty easy.
Yeah, we are pretty easy. Let me see here. I want to go. I'm gonna put this into the chat. Let me see if I can. Okay. I just couldn't remember it long enough. Someone needs to be assigned to keep up the blog. I've entered the last couple of meetings, and this is from Chris Gould. Hi, Tiana. This into the chat. It's really easy. I'd be happy to show someone how to do it. If perchance Pam is amenable, she is already familiar with Blogger.
Yeah.
Just a hint there, Pam.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I
it's
yeah.
not coming back to me, but all you do because is you just put the link in.
I sent
This next 2 weeks I'm crazed because I have a big project. As you've heard from many of my speeches on the 27th, it's the open house. Once I get over that, I'll collapse. But it's really you just put the link right in, and we used to have the recap would go in there. I think we'll let that one go for a while. Although, okay, I'm so great claiming credit. I brought that to the club, but I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I would like to find out more about it because that's one of the projects at the higher level, and I need a project for to complete dynamic leadership. And I believe
It's
one of them,
easy peasy. We just need to sign in.
so
Our
easy.
usual thing. Who's got the code to sign in? And you just sign in. You just pull up a new page. I think it may be our on automatic pilot there. You just throw the link in, and then the other thing to do is you do two. You tag whoever the speakers are, so that when we can go back, and that's what Chris is real concerned about. We've stopped tagging the speakers. So if you want to go
Uh-huh.
back and see your speeches now, it's not as easy to find you. This will happen,
Oh, that
but
yeah,
you just put a tag on them. It's not a
right.
tag,
You
and the
know,
tags are already all set, so you just have to like click.
yeah,
Fairly
yeah.
mindless, which is always good.
All right. Sorry to interrupt, but good morning, Toastmasters. And drum roll, welcome guests as I find my opening. Here we go. It's 7 o'clock. That's what I was supposed to say. Let's get this show on the road. I'm your sergeant at arms. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills. These skills foster self-confidence and personal growth. These meetings are recorded for our members. Earlybird Toastmasters may also use these recordings for club promotions. It's important for everyone to practice good Zoom meeting etiquette. Please keep your microphone muted unless you are actively involved in the conversation, and remember to unmute yourself to speak. We want to see you. Keep your camera turned on during the meeting unless you do not wish to participate. Be aware that the camera sees everything. Use the chat. You can chat privately or with everyone. Now, help me welcome our presiding officer, Toastmaster Randolph Bastine.
Good morning, everyone, and fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Yes, I am Randolph Bastine, and we are going to have ourselves an early bird meeting this morning. And we here at Toastmasters, we like to start early board meeting off with a invocation. However, I'm not sure, did we have?
Marie.
So in our invocation is going to be presented by Toastmaster Marie Rock.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests and dignitaries. My name is Marie Rock, and I am reading our invocation from a book of blessings called To Bless the Space Between Us. And this is called a morning offering. I bless the night that nourished my heart to set the ghosts of longing free into a flow and figure of dream that went to harvest from the dark, bread for hunger that no one sees. All that is eternal in me welcomes the wonder of this day, the field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter waves of desire I am sure to, and all beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shells of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. Fellow Toastmasters, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. President.
Thank you. And then we'll want to lighten things up a little bit with a joke. And the joke is going to be presented by none other than myself this morning. And it's a lesson about determination. Susan, she was determined and she went into her boss and she said, you know, I, I have 3 companies after me and I need a 5% raise. And the boss is like, oh, okay. And then they go back and forth, go back and forth. And she's like, no, I have to have this raise. And she was not going to give in at all. So finally the boss, he gives in and he say, Susan, I just have to know, who are these 3 companies? My mortgage, electric, and water company. Thank you. And before we start our introductions, we are going to have our word of the day, which is going to be presented by our Toastmaster, George Alvarado.
No, Kimberly.
No, I'm not.
No, Kimberly.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. You're the all counter. That's right. It's going to be sorry. Our word of the day is going to be presented by Toastmaster Kim D'Ambrosio.
Good morning. Nice to see every shining face. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language and their usage of language. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, and thoughts. The word of the day is diligence. The steady, careful, and focused application of your energy towards something you value. Diligence. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you for the word of the day. You heard it. The word of the day is diligence. And we like to try and use the word of the day in our self-introductions. And we're going to start our self-introductions this morning with Toastmaster Christina Kurth.
Good morning, dignitaries, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. My name is Christina Kurth. I'm coming to you from Plantation, Florida, but hopefully not for too much longer, which I will share in my speech today. Because of my husband and I will say diligence right now, Alita. We have put all of our energy into making this move, and I know it's not over yet, but we're going to have a little bit of a reprieve, at least I am this week. My husband's going to Montana for his job, and I'm going to go along with and sit back and work from home in one of the people's houses that he cooks for. So it's going to be a nice little getaway for me, and I'm excited. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you. Next up is going to be Toastmaster George Alvarado.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I am George, located in Davie, Florida. I am trying not to be too diligent with my usage of when speaking, because then I turn into a robot. So I try to let things flow as best as I can. It's not the easiest, but it's a muscle that I'm trying to flex. Thank you. Back to you.
Well done.
Thank you. Flex that muscle. Next up is going to be Toastmaster Pam Scrimcher.
Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters and our most welcome guests and our dignitary. Good to see you. I am Pam Scrimsher. I am today coming from Camp Pendleton over in California, visiting my daughter whose husband's deployed over somewhere, we don't know where, but somewhere, been gone since February, and she's doing October. So we're having exciting with diligence, trying to get things done. I am working on the persuasive influence and the presentation mastery level pathways, and I finished level 3, and I'm trying to finish level 4. There's a little glitch at TI. I need to fill in a form, I think. But anyway, can't wait to hear all what y'all are up to. Good morning.
Thank you. And next up is going to be Toastmaster Alita Richmond.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and particularly our area director, Wanda Calaman. Welcome back. My name is Alita Richmond, coming to you from Newton, North Carolina, where I continue to be diligent in putting as many things as I can into a 24-hour day. And let me tell you, it gets exhausting. But if I don't just push myself, it seems like I'm falling behind. I don't know. Maybe some of you could relate to that. I'm working on level 5, dynamic leadership. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Next up is going to be Toastmaster Marie Rock.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, soon to be Toastmasters, returning Toastmasters, and most welcome guests and dignitaries. My name is Marie Rock, coming to you from Wilton Manors, Florida, working on presentation mastery and dynamic leadership. Yesterday, my freezer went, it's just expired. So my husband and I diligently shopped for a new refrigerator freezer last evening, and I'm happy to report one will be delivered today. Mr. President.
Thank you. Next up, we're going to go into our guests and meet our guests. First off is no stranger to this club, soon to be Toastmaster Kim D'Ambrosio.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, soon to be Toastmaster. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim D'Ambrosio. I am your grammarian today, and I'm coming to you live from Panama City, Florida, the Panhandle, the Redneck Riviera. I am also in contract to sell the house and relocate back to South Florida. It is a process that takes extreme diligence and positive attitude. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Next up, and forgive me if I don't pronounce the name correctly, Tiana.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me. Am I using the word diligent in a sentence?
Yes.
I'm located in Tamarack, Florida, and I am currently working on, I'm currently working on a uh, provider referral network for women who are struggling with hormone issues. I'm a hormone practitioner and a registered nurse, and I am struggling with the due diligence in getting the app in the final stages. Today is my demo day, so that's my introduction. Thank you.
Well wishes on the demo day. We know that you're going to do great. And next up is going to be Terry.
Good morning, everyone. Apologies for that delay. My name is Terry Grant. I believe I've been to a few Toastmaster meetings before. I recently relocated to South Florida. I currently live in Fort Lauderdale. I am interested in becoming more active in the club, becoming official, in an attempt to being more diligent in the workforce and the roles that I currently hold. I do a lot of speaking engagements, a lot of different things that require my executive presence. And I've just always enjoyed orating. And I think this is a great way to improve upon that. So I'm trying to maintain and be a little more diligent in practicing and becoming much better at that. So that's why I'm here. Nice to meet you all. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. And yes, it's nice to meet you. And this is the place to do that learning. We would love to have you all. Next up is our Toastmaster, our dignitary, our area director, Toastmaster Wanda Kalaman.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, not only myself, distinguished Toastmasters, and especially our welcome guests. It is always my pleasure to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning, getting up and enjoying, especially the invocations. Toastmasters, well, I live in Hollywood, Florida. I'm originally from Philadelphia, been here 23 years and loving every sunrise. Toastmasters has taught me to be diligent, to show up consistently, do the work, and keep growing even when no one is watching. Back to you,
Thank you.
President. Are you the president or Toastmaster today?
I'm the
President.
presiding officer. Yes.
Oh, presiding officer.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, I am the presiding officer, Toastmaster Randolph Bastine here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And yes, welcome Toastmasters and most welcome guests, dignitaries. We appreciate you all. And we're here at Thursday, the peak of the week for us, our new Friday. And far as diligence, I tell you what, before we start our meeting, I guess, or maybe after, we're going to diligently. I completed the training over the weekend, and I saw you as well, Ms. Marie. We had the same training, and I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to diligently. They ask us, even though we have into September to do our club success plan, we are going to diligently go for the challenge of having this completed before, no, by the 30th. That's what we're going to do. So, and with that being said, I will reach out to some of you all and ask do we have access to last year's so that way I can familiarize myself with that. And so I'll reach out to you all and find out about that information. And so far as that, we are going to introduce our Toastmaster of the day and get ourselves into start a meeting. Our Toastmaster of the day is Toastmaster Alita Richmond.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. Before we get started here, can you be timer today? I was going to be timer, but my thing. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Apparently, we are at the height of the travel season for many of our members this week. Although Pam Scrimshire has made it, and she's It's early in the morning for her, like 4 a.m. What a wonderful Toastmasters. We attempt to be prepared for each meeting. And because of our Toastmasters experience and diligence, we are able to easily adapt to last-minute changes. We expect to have a shorter meeting today. We have only one speaker. Nevertheless, we are ready for an action-packed, fully engaging peak of the week meeting of Earlybird Toastmasters today, August 20th, 2026. Now, we all know, but for guests and new members, I'll remind you, Toastmasters meetings around the globe include 3 distinct portions: table topics, prepared speeches, and evaluations. You'll hear more about each portion during the meeting. To achieve our goals, we have several collaborators. Our timer this morning, Randolph Bastine, has raised his virtual hand so that everybody can see him. And he follows the timing requirements for each portion of the meeting and signals the active speaker for the time. So you will hear more from our timer throughout the meeting. You have already met our grammarian, Kimberly D'Ambrosio, who presented the word of the day. She also explained her duties, but if she could just briefly fly by her responsibilities again as grammarian. Where are those? Where are those?
Cheat sheet. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guest. We are looking for colorful language and as well as any outstanding words, quotes, or sayings and or expressive thoughts. I will be noting each speaker and their beautiful language. I will give the grammarian's report during the meeting, and also the word of the day, which you have heard, is diligence. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam Grammarian. We also have an R counter, Toastmaster George Alvarado. Please explain the duties and responsibilities of the R counter.
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Indeed, I am the counter, and with that, I will take note of any filler words such as us, you knows. Also repeats, maybe like and, I. And at the end of the meeting, I'll give my final report. Also, I will be using these backgrounds. So I'm gonna set me up like this initially. Let me place myself to the top right so I'm visible with Randolph. And then if you hear one of those infractions, or if I hear one of those infractions, I'll post this here to indicate that the infraction was made. At the end of the meeting, I will give my final report. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. This morning, we have only one speaker, and I'm sure it's going to be a very moving presentation. But first, I call upon Toastmaster Marie Rock, who will challenge us with table topics. Toastmaster Rock.
Thank you, Toastmaster Richmond. This morning, we're going to take a deep dive into one of our Toastmaster resources. And we will use our most recent issue of our Toastmaster magazine, which is you can all find online, as the platform for table topics. Now, table topics is a time that we can practice our impromptu speaking. Speaking off the cuff, which is what most of us do most of the time, whether it's at work or with friends or with someone we just meet in the elevator or at the gym or at work. So we do have some timing requirements for table topics, and Toastmaster Bastine, will you please give those to us?
Yes. Table topics is 1 to 2 minutes with a 30-second deviation. At 1 minute, you'll get the green light, and 1 minute and 30 seconds, you'll get the yellow light. And at 2 minutes, you'll get the red light, giving you 30 seconds to wrap it up. And hopefully you'll make your time. And back to you, Madam Table Topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bastine, and thank you for stepping into the role. There's a marvelous article in the Toastmaster magazine about storytelling. And each of us has stories, and we can develop our stories. And the article quotes Dilip Abakasera, DTM past international president and accredited speaker. He says, a well-designed story helps the audience feel the scene that the storyteller is painting. Storytellers help people see, hear, and feel your message. If you want to connect with an audience, stories are essential and an invaluable tool. Stories validate and reinforce your message and often are an outlet for thoughtful reflection. In my own experience as a presenter at work, and I always do an evaluation of my presentation, often what people most relate to are when I tie in a personal story. So I'm going to take some of the questions that are in this article and ask you to respond to them. Toastmaster Terry, would you like to participate in table topics and speak on something for a few minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll follow your lead.
Where did you grow up and what made it distinctive?
Ooh. So I was born and raised on the island of Jamaica. And as you can imagine, it takes a lot of diligence and perseverance when on an island. I've heard many people say that they could not live on an island, but it's actually something that I enjoy and miss. I have since lived in the US. This makes 20 years for me this year.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
If you talk until the green light, until you see green behind Randolph.
Talk until I see green. Got it. Okay. So a little bit about where I was raised. There are a lot of people, but not a lot of people. I don't know how to say that differently. So, for example, I feel like in the US, you may not necessarily know your neighbors, but for me, when I go back home, I see the same people I grew up with.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Terry.
Thank you.
Okay. What were some of your favorites when you were a child? Your foods, your friends, your music, your hangouts, your relatives? Toastmaster Kim D'Ambrosio.
Madam Table Topics, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Well, my favorite foods are very simple. I have a hankering for mashed potatoes and gravy. It's the truth. I make them at the oddest hours. It fills me with warm, comfortable feelings. However, I am also slightly addicted to cooking shows, which inspire me to make different types of meals, try different types of products, and that's also fills my time. Where I grew up was between Long Island and Rhode Island, and so I also enjoy a good New York hot dog with sauerkraut, mustard, and those steamed buns. There's nothing better. Let's see. Lasagna is also another favorite. Coming from an Italian-Irish background, Italian food is also wonderful. So the potatoes and the Italian food make me a very diligent eater. Madam Topic Master.
Yum, thank you, Toastmaster D'Ambrosio. Tell us about the first time you saw your partner. The first time you saw your partner, Toastmaster Pam Scrimshire.
Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster Rock. The first time I saw my partner. Well, time passes. I'll have to think back. What did we do? Well, I can't remember exactly the first time, but I'll tell you one of the fun first times. My first time that we went together to back in Fort Lauderdale, you used to be able to go over to the port and see the manatees, and you could feed them. And so we did. Now, I had a child, a 2-year-old at the time, so that was just more fun because you would take lettuce. I'm sure this is not, well, it's better than bread, I guess, because they are herbivores. Anyway, you could take lettuce over to the port and you could feed the manatees. And it was just more fun because, they come up into the warm water. Of course, now FPNL blocked it all off and you can't do that anymore. But it was really, really fun at that stage of the game. And what I really liked about meeting he stuck around 40 years and I've kept him, husband now, was that he enjoyed feeding the manatees and he enjoyed being around a small child because not everybody, and I have to tell you this, I have with my grandchildren in this moment, I'll enjoy being around small children. They're all adorable, but golly, when you get to a certain stage of the game, you get really, 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 really tired. And I'm not even moving houses like some of y'all are moving. I just fly back and forth from Fort Lauderdale. Where do I live now? Orlando to Camp Pendleton and back and back and back. But yeah, it was really fun that you could just go over to the port and feed the manatees. A very calm, calm, calm day. Now you have to go, I guess, to Crystal River. Although when we did live in Fort Lauderdale on New River, I have to admit, not that we ever fed manatees because that's an illegal thing and we would never do anything like that at all. We did enjoy watching them go up and down the river. Thank you for helping me think of that memory. That was lovely. Back to you, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you, Toastmaster Scrimshire. Was it Grant or was it the manatees? I don't know what was more favorable. Oh, tell us about your favorite vacation. Your favorite vacation, Toastmaster Alvarado.
Oh, I just totally realized I was off mute. Sorry about that. Yes, about my favorite vacation. Let's see. So I remember, before, when I was little, I remember, I don't know, maybe I was 5 or something. I remember a camping trip that my father took us to, and it was to St. Augustine. Never did camping before. It was a great experience. We took our St. Bernard at the time, slobbered everywhere, drooled. Florida temperature climate is not meant for St. Bernards. Today, since that day, I have not done any camping. And I know they have glamping. I guess that's the cool thing nowadays. So it's not really camping. You actually have AC. So it's like the bootlegged version of camping, I guess you can say. But in the future, I don't know. I think it's something I'm definitely willing to experience. I think I'm a little bougie that way. I should, if I'm gonna do camping, why not include that AC? Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alvarado. I think Toastmaster Veronica Winninger is a glamping person. What has been the most exciting or unusual thing you have done? The most exciting or unusual thing you have done. Toastmaster Kalman.
Thank you very much for that question. The most exciting and unusual thing I've done. I would say when I planned a trip to Alaska, because I work and retired from Carnival Cruise Lines, and I had to get all my family members together because it was my 60th birthday. And getting an entire family together to go do something you want to do is really, you have to be diligent because they're teenagers. Who wants to go to Alaska, even though we like cruising? But it was an amazing experience. And the major part of it, I don't know why they didn't want to go because I paid for everything. And but they had a marvelous time. But it was truly an experience for all of us, something that we continue to talk about every single day. Now they're in their 20s, and now they're going to have to pay for their own cruises, right, from here on out. But we had an amazing time. But it was really a challenge too to get them all there. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Maria.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kalman. How lucky to be in your family. Okay. Tell us about your first job. Tell us about your first job. Toast, Tamana, Tiana, are you there?
Yes, I am. I apologize. I was just trying to get a little breakfast in before. I apologize.
Okay. Can you tell us about your first job?
Absolutely. My first job when I was 16 years old was through an internship program called the HIP internship program, where high schoolers with great math abilities would be able to function as a intern at the Washington Mutual at the time to learn the ins and out of being a bank teller with the hopes of going on to finances later, which I didn't.
Can you talk until Randolph's background turns green?
I apologize. Yes, I learned a lot through this experience. I learned a lot about investing. I learned a lot about how to manage money. And more importantly, I learned a lot about the power of compound interest over time when it came to in making investments early. I also learned about the different kinds of people and there we go.
You can talk until it turns red.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My first time. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I learned a lot about different kinds of people. I remember having someone who appeared to be homeless and maybe struggled with some mental disabilities. And when I went to service him, he was a multimillionaire. So I also learned the power of not judging people by their appearances and understanding that everyone is dealing with something that we may not know about. So to extend a little bit of kindness to everyone that you come across. I think that job provided me with a lot of opportunity, a lot of opportunities. It taught me how to interact with people. It taught me to not pass judgment. And most importantly, it taught me about what my future finances could look like if I utilized compound interest and investment opportunities that I learned about.
Wow, thank you. Sounds,
That
sounds
was a
like
little tough. I
sounds like
apologize.
an internship that everyone should have.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Thank you. Okay. Tell us about your childhood best friend. Your childhood best friend, Toastmaster Randolph Bastine.
Madam Tabletop, my childhood best friend. Let's see. That has to be, that's a little tough for me. I don't have an individual childhood best friend. And I must say that's because I grew up, my grandmother had 9 children, so we had a lot of cousins. We had a lot of, and then I also grew up with my mother. She, in that time when just be home before the street lights come on. So as far as in the neighborhood, we got to play around. We played the football, was 2 hands on the road, tackle in the grass. We played basketball, street hockey, so far as childhood friend, there was no individual. I actually really grew up with the village. We have, I guess we call them squads or whatever. I had my cousins that we would always come together far as every when we get together, we used to play with the action figures. And I like to say we were like directors, like Steven Spielberg and everything, because it would be we had a whole situation that we do. We'll pick our characters first. We spread all the toys out, we pick our characters, and then we start our story that is going to be, and it's usually based on somewhat whatever the characters are already. And then and that literally takes us about an hour. So like an hour later, we are ready. And now we got these action figures. We all got our characters and we're talking and fighting and we do this well for hours and hours, and while our parents are just having a good time, they're doing their thing, not paying us no attention, and we're just doing it. Our imaginations are going wild. And I just remember that. And I tell them now to this day, I'm like, we was making movies back in the day. We were actually making movies. So yeah, I don't have an actual one friend, but by the grace of God, I've grew up with many. So yes, thank you for that question. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Toastmaster Bastine. That was a great visual of what happened. Okay, and for our final topic, tell us about your first pet, Toastmaster Alita Richmond.
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, my first pet. Well, those of you who have known me over the years have probably heard me talk about my beginnings on a farm in Pennsylvania, Southwest Pennsylvania. We had all kinds of animals, but as far as pet, we had a collie dog, beautiful collie dog, and her name was Cincy, Cincy. She was great. I didn't even know there were any other kinds of dogs for many years. I thought collie was the only type of dog there was. She was so much fun to run through the fields with. But like I say, we lived on a farm. So we had chickens and cows. We didn't have horses when I was little. Those came later. But I don't even remember all the things that we had. Mostly, though, we did farming, which is why I am such a lover of gardening today, working in the dirt. I have had other pets since then, and I have learned that there are a variety, quite a huge variety of dogs and crossbreeds and things nowadays. I love those little furry doodle mixes because they don't shed. They don't shed. That's great. But my dog, Cincy, that beautiful collie dog, she was not a house dog because in those days, dogs did not come into the house, period. We lived on a farm, had a dog house, nice dog house, but Cincy had to stay outside. Great, great memories. I always remember Cincy. Okay, thank you, Madam Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Richmond, and thank you to all of our participants. It was a delight to hear about your stories. And I encourage you to take a look at the Toast vote for the best table topic speakers And I encourage you to take a look at the Toastmaster magazine online and think about developing your stories because they do make you a better speaker. And with that, I return the control to the.
Well, I'm going to give the timer.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
After all that work, yes, I do want to hear the timing. Thank you, Toastmaster Bastine.
Okay, yes, and it looks like we already got the vote. However, that doesn't matter because everyone made the time. Good job, everyone. We had our guests and hopefully soon to be Toastmaster Terry with 1 minute 9 seconds, and our soon to be Toastmaster Kim D'Ambrosio, 1 minute 24 seconds. Toastmaster Pam Scrimcher with 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Toastmaster George Alvarado with 1 minute and 25 seconds. Dignitary and Toastmaster Wanda Kalaman with 1 minute and 25 seconds. Our guest and hopefully soon to be Toastmaster Tiana with 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Myself, Toastmaster Randolph with 2 minutes and 29 seconds. And Toastmaster Alita Richmond with 1 minute and 55 seconds. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Table Topic.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bastine, for your thorough reporting. And with that, I return the center square to Toastmaster Richmond.
Yay. Oh, Toastmaster Rock, when you first said we're going to do table topics from the Toastmaster magazine, and I thought, oh my God, I know I didn't read that yet. I didn't even look at it, but that was a fantastic article. What super table topics questions. Anybody could talk about it, and it doesn't take a lot of research or anything. Perfect example of what table topic questions could be. So at this time, we have only one speaker today. So let's take a 3-minute convenience break. Let's take a 3-minute convenience break. Mr. Timer, please notify us at 3 minutes. That is, of course, unless everyone is back before that. Okay.
Christina, I have a question. Okay, actually, I should ask our Toastmaster.
Oh, yes.
I said I'd be general evaluator. Am I evaluating?
Yes, because we only have the one.
Okay. I'm looking at it says that you're doing level 1, the feedback. Is that the right level? The feedback
The
form?
only reason she did not put that in. I went back and researched where she is on that pathway, and that is the next one that she was scheduled to do.
Okay, so it's one that you use the feedback and then present it again. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thank you, Alita. I'm need to be more diligent at pathways. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that, and I will.
I need a good talking to.
Okay.
Alita.
Yes.
Becky Jo's not here, so I'd like to send membership applications to our guests.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
I don't know if Christina still captures guest information or
Well, I don't know that either.
Let's see. We'll chat.
We could, yes, if they could just put their information to you.
All I need is the email address, correct?
Right. Thank you.
And we do have Tiana, because she went, I think maybe through Toastmasters International. Anyway, we got a note from them, and Randolph has her address. I guess I got it as secretary, but we don't have Toastmaster, the potential Toastmaster Terry.
Right. Do you have Kimberly's info?
No. I guess I need to collect emails and start sending out applications.
Yeah, that would be great.
You need
All
my
right, that's
email?
our,
Yes.
Yes, please put it in the chat.
Okay.
all right, that's our time. Back to the meeting.
Oh, yay. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I'm ready to go. Yes, sirree. All right, now we're moving into the prepared speeches portion of our meeting. We have one speech today. Mr. Timer, please explain the timing requirements for today's speech.
Today's speech is going to be a 5 to 7 minute speech, and we'll get the green light at 5 minutes. At 6 minutes, and we'll get the yellow, and at 7 minutes, you'll get the red. And my apologies, you also have a 30-second deviation. So that will be your time to wrap it up. All righty, back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Our speaker this morning will be presenting a project from the Persuasive Influence Path. Christina Kurth is preparing for a major change, traveling from South Florida for the mountains of North Georgia. But this move actually began years ago with a Christmas trip to Blue Ridge. This morning, she'll share how that trip eventually led her to Jasper, Georgia, and a place she'll soon call home. Please welcome Toastmaster Christina Kurth with Finding Home in the Mountains.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alita Richmond. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So I don't know how persuasive this speech will be. Maybe the success will have you guys all join me in the mountains and move north, but I will work on my pathways, Alita. So, and this also really works well with what Marie had brought up in table topics, the beauty of telling a story. So for those that I haven't met, I am excited to share this personal story with you. And for those that I have got a chance to meet recently, this is a little bit more information than the just, hey, guess what? I'm moving to Georgia. So it did start a couple of years ago, even before we had moved into this house. We had just moved from Vero Beach to Fort Lauderdale, or actually we were in Davie, Jorge. And we had met up with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law in Blue Ridge for a cabin adventure over Christmas. And it was one of my most memorable Christmases as an adult, I'll say. It was nice to go up and have a little bit of cold for Christmas. I was originally born in Canada, for those I haven't met. And it was exciting to feel like a little crisp in the air as you woke up on a Christmas morning. And just look out and have your coffee and see the scenery and the forest and the mountains. And then we also spent some time in town, which is where we took this picture. It's a Christmas tree, and I guess a little bit of a tradition that they have in Blue Ridge. But that was one trip. It was about 5 days, and it was probably almost 10 years ago. And we hadn't even moved to Plantation. We were in Davie, but it was something that would just kind of keep in the back of our minds. So we've done longer moves. As I mentioned, I'm from Canada, so my husband and I have moved from Toronto to Florida, but this one does seem a pretty far move. I don't know how I don't know how it relates to your move from Pennsylvania, Alita. We're kind of meeting in the middle, but it is a 10-hour drive. Last time we visited, we took it in 2 trips. We went to the central area of Florida, stayed at a state park there in an RV, and then kept on going. But I don't know if this time maybe we'll do it in one full drive. We'll see. A little bit more of a packed car. But it feels like a much bigger change than the mileage suggests, just because we're going from palm trees to pine trees, from flat to mountains, and it's going to be going from a big metropolis of Fort Lauderdale to about 4,000 people city, where I don't know if we'll know everybody, Terry, but it's going to just feel a little bit more cozy. So I mentioned the RV road trip that we took. This is my husband and I trying some local barbecue, just to get an idea of the surroundings. The name of the restaurant is Big'uns. So I'm going to have to get used to that, but now we joke about Big'uns. But we had the idea that we might want to live here. And so we were kind of scoping it out. And so we were trying to picture a normal day of the week and say, like, okay, where would we go for a restaurant? Wouldn't be like we do now. We go to like the Catherine in Fort Lauderdale, and now it's Big'uns. So we decided we liked it, especially the turkey for you, Kim. The food was delicious. So a little bit history, of course. If you're going to move somewhere, you want to do a little bit of research. So Jasper was founded in 1857. It's in Pickens County, and I think like similar towns in the area, there's a lot of influence from the railroad that helped actually transport marble. So little known to me, it is a marble capital of Georgia. So really neat to see the pink marble and just all the pretty textures, and also just the rocks that it comes from reminds me of back home in Toronto, just north of Toronto in Muskoka. It's very similar. So neat to see that. And this is just like a coffee area that we found. It's probably one of the bigger areas of the town. So this is one of the campsites that we stayed in, and this is something that really, I think, hit home and helped us decide, like, yeah, it's going to happen. We woke up to this view, and although it's not very sunny and it's a little bit misty, it was just breathtaking and really inspiring. And we had our eye on a house when we were looking on Zillow, but then we actually took a look at it. This is it here. We loved the street name, 71 Cutthroat. Speaks to the pirates, and my husband and I, as we met on a boat, 71 Cutthroat Ridge. So then we found this house. It had everything we needed. It'd be for the dogs, and we agreed right there. We looked at each other and we said, "This is going to." The house is actually in a community called Bentry, and for us, it's exciting because there's a lake where we can go. It's a private lake. You don't have to get a fishing license. And there's hiking, golf course. So my husband and I like to golf once a week. So that's something that we can just get our golf cart out and ride to. And then dog park for our dog. And then, of course, hiking. Speaking of which, if you can hear my dog barking, I apologize. We're having a house inspection right now. What with the flow? So there's horse stables as well, which is something I always wanted to do as a kid. So I'm excited to go back at that. You're never too old to look. Here's the golf course. Beautiful. It's got a little bit more hill than I used to here in Florida. Here's some of the hiking trails. And then here's those dogs that are making a lot of noise right now. But this is Buzz Aldrin and Bruce. And we went for walks with them. And I think they're probably going to be the happiest. My husband and I will be really happy, but the dogs are starting to call them the mountain dog. I mentioned that we tried out a couple of coffee shops, showed you that one picture of the little area, and they were a huge hit. This one in particular had a little game section, and my husband and I love to play cards or like Monopoly type board games. So that passed the test. They had this little game called Coffee Roulette, which you put your hand in the jar, and then it gave you a flavor to try, and it was just kind of a neat idea. So hopefully this introduces you a little bit to myself, for those new welcome guests, and for those that I've been on Toastmasters with you guys for a year, just life update. But as influencing goes, I think that although not everybody's going to move to Georgia, I really encourage you to, even though it's scary, I know what Kim's doing right now, is to take a chance, do what you want to do with your life, not be scared to try something new, and work towards it. So we're still working on it, but we'll hopefully be there soon.
Yay. Okay, looks like you're going to be close to me. Very close. I'm on the west side. Anyway, okay, please provide some feedback and just general comments to our speaker using the chat feature. Mr. Timer, how did our speaker do with the time?
Thank you for allowing us to get to know you just that much better. And in great fashion, it was 7 minutes and 39 seconds. So, well, guess what though? You're still a winner. So yes. And with that, back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, yes, we will not have to vote on our better speaker today since we only have one. So it's my pleasure at this point to introduce our general evaluator, Toastmaster Pamela Scrimshire.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Richmond. Yes, this is the third part of our meeting, and this is the part that makes Toastmasters different than any other group in the world, I think. It gives us an opportunity to give some gentle feedback to our speaker. However, at the same time, it gives us an opportunity to practice really listening, because it's really hard to pay attention sometimes. It's not the speaker, it's whatever's going on in our lives. So we have both ways. We get to speak, we get to get some feedback, we get to practice listening. And as general evaluator, I get to do the general evaluation of everything. But first, I will introduce the specific evaluator, which also happens to be me this morning, that I'm going to evaluate Toastmaster Kurt's speech. And like everything at Toastmasters, we do have timing requirements. Toastmaster Bastine, what's the timing requirements for the evaluations?
Yes, the timing requirements for evaluations is 2 to 3 minutes. And at 2 minutes, you'll get the green light. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you'll get yellow. And 3 minutes at red to wrap it up. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator and Evaluator.
Very much, Toastmaster Bastine. I'm going to do just a little bit of information for the people that are visiting us this morning. One of the parts of evaluations is the timing, so to be succinct, but also we talk about pathways. We each choose at Toastmasters International the pathway we want to be on. There's different levels, different projects you're supposed to be doing, and we're becoming more and more able to do what we want to do. So if we don't choose the path, well, sometimes our vice president of education puts one on, and that's what happened this morning. So Toastmaster Kurt did not know exactly what our project was, but this project is designed for someone to present a speech, get the feedback, and then redo that speech, because that's how we learn, is by relearning. This is a learning lab. This is not the finished product. So specifically, well, okay, we're all going to move next to you. That solved that problem. You were very persuasive and influence. I'll just tell my husband, move on. I'll meet you there when I fly back from California. I'll change my tickets. Well done. And your PowerPoint, smooth. That's another thing we're learning, is how to do all the technical things. Beautiful pictures. There was a continuity. You had your three little triads, more mountains, and I can't remember off the top of my head. Very, very, very clear, very, very pretty. The pictures were easy to see. The only thing I would suggest on that, it's like we're always struggling with, and I don't know how one does it ahead of time, where you were blocked up just a little bit of the writing. And so I think we have to learn how to always have a blank space on our PowerPoint slide where our photograph is. Now, I'm not clear whether that can be moved around or not, because I'm just learning that part of it too. That you can look at the recording and show that. That will help. But it was in you. You made it clear. Your maps were clear. Why you're doing was clear. You started off with your beautiful Christmas, and then of course the dogs, which brings up here at Toastmasters, we don't apologize because our audience doesn't know what's supposed to be going on. Maybe the dogs were part of the show. Maybe they were having we don't know, right? So we never say we're sorry. We're not sorry. You're lucky we got to hear you, right?
Right.
So, and the dogs, I actually didn't hear the dogs myself. That's one of the other things, probably we didn't hear it anyway. So I would recommend you do this again because that's the project, but also see if you can figure out where to put insert your photograph so it doesn't cover up the rest. And tell us about where the real is, and we'll be all moving next year. We're all heading north, I guess, unless okay. Well done. I appreciate it very much. Okay, Mr. Timer, how did our evaluator do?
Yes, the evaluator qualifies with 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Thank you. Back to you.
This evaluator tends to run over. And so this is one of the things that we really do try to do is stay on time because it's two parts. One is learning to stop when we need to stop. But the other part is people are hanging on your words, learn to go on long enough. That's what Table Topics does to it. As general evaluator, I do get to evaluate the whole meeting. And it's always a question whether to start with the evaluation or start with our collaborators. So because Toastmaster Alvarado is committed to doing us, I want to get him over and done before he collects any more of mine. Toastmaster Alvarado, how are we doing on our
Yes, thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Yes, I was diligent in this task and ferocious at the same time, but it was necessary. I hope you guys understand. Let me give my let me give my report. So Marie had 1 Randolph had 4 3 you knows, 1 Understandably so, he was a timer and speaking, so that's a challenge right there. Terry had 4 2 ums. Ham, 2 you knows, 2 and 1 repeat of you. Wanda had 1 Tiana had 1 and 1 Alita had 2 repeats of and I. Christina Kurth.
okay.
Embrace for impact. For you had you had 18 1 repeat of I, and 15 us. There was chaos in your house inspection, so it was a challenge, but that's not your usual. So we know what the usual Christina is. And that's my report. Thank you. And of course, I made mistakes. I couldn't count myself, but I'm sure I made fractures. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alvarado. And our grammarian, Toastmaster D'Ambrosio. How did we talk pretty today? No, now you're muted now.
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, I am cracking up this morning with y'all's language skills. Diligent made the topics and as well as the speeches. I enjoyed several quips of language from Toastmaster Bastine, particularly he grew up in a village, which not having a best friend, but 9 cousins, I can see that being a village. And I also enjoyed playing until the lights came on because that's how I grew up as well. I also enjoyed our guest Tiana, who used the words compound interest, not judging people, She was not diligent in missed the word of the day. However, I felt as if she was diligent in staying in her table topic. It's challenging listening, writing, Zooming. I also enjoyed Take a Chance by our speaker, Toastmaster. Now I forgot your name, Christina. Cross. There it is, Kurth. Crisp in the air. I also enjoyed the vivid language. That is my report for today, my first time being grammarian. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Well, thank you, Toastmaster D'Ambrosio. Yes, this is a learning lab. We take chances, we learn, we try again.
Yes.
So thank you for stepping up and doing that. And that's one of the things that we are very good about here at Earlybirds. We do step into roles as needed because of travel, because of some personal things that are happening, because of, oh, those pesky jobs that people have to go to. We're down a few people this morning. We know they'll be back. We miss them. We can't wait to see them again. But it's nice that when we get on, and let me encourage you, we open up the room 6:30, 6:45, a few minutes beforehand, so we can have a little chat, say, how's it going? Like we did back when we met in real life. We actually got to see you before we became so formal at the meeting at 7 o'clock. We do start at 7 o'clock. We are over at 8:30. We do an excellent job on that. I encourage you to come a little early, have a little chit chat if possible, but also that's when we fill in any roles that need to be filled in at the last minute if someone had to step away at the last minute. And as usual, we did a fabulous job. Lovely, lovely invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. Randolph, you've got dad jokes perfected. Well done. Our speaker, yes, I think North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, North Georgia. And I've made that trip many a time, having gone to school in North Georgia and living in South Florida. It's a long drive. Break it up. Break it up. What else do I have on my comments as evaluator or general evaluator? Well, other than keep using the pathways, learn more about the pathways. They really do work, doing the different steps. It really does help. And remember, part of the job is not just speaking, it's the listening skills, because if we pay more attention to everybody in life, we learn more. Madam Toastmaster, that's what I know as general evaluator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pam, for stepping in as generally evaluated this morning. An excellent comprehensive overview of our meeting. And now, the time we have waited for. Our best table topic speaker this morning, and I'm sure it was a tough challenge here, is our guest, Tiana. Hooray! Congratulations. I hope that encourages you to come back and sign up those membership docs and become a part of us. I congratulate everyone for their participation in another brilliant, energetic meeting of Earlybird Toastmasters. Always bringing fresh ideas, enthusiasm, and unique personalities. It's been an honor to be your Toastmaster this morning. I now return control of the meeting to our presiding officer, Randolph Bastine.